Act 1, Scene 1 of The Beauty Stone by Arthur Wing Pinero and Joseph Comyns Carr. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Characters.
Philip, Lord of Merlemont, read by Thomas Peter.
Guntran of Beaugrant, read by Alan Mapstone.
Simon Limahl, a weaver, read by Greg Giordano.
Nicholas Dirks, Burgomaster of Merlemont, read by Adrian Stevens.
A Seneschal, read by Beeswax Candle.
A Lad of the Town, read by Redrun.
Baldwin of Ath, read by David Purdy.
The Lord of Sorrow, read by Jim Locke.
The Lord of Valaines, read by Inco.
The Lord of Sansova, read by Lorda.
The Devil, read by Todd.
Lane, the Weaver's Daughter, read by Jen Broda.
Joan, the Weaver's Wife, read by Kendra.
Jacqueline, read by Sonia.
Louise from Saint-Denis, read by Val Roth.
Isabeau from Florence, read by Inco.
Barb from Bovigny, read by Agnes Robert Bear.
A Shrewish Girl, read by Devorah Allen.
A Matron, read by Christine Rutger.
Saida, read by Daisy.
Competitor's Friend, read by Addison Cooper.
Narrator, read by Larry Wilson. The story is laid in the Flemish town of Merlemont in the beginning of the 15th century. The Beauty Stone, Act 1, Scene 1. The home of Simon Limahl, the weaver, a sombre, wretched-looking dwelling. At the back is a window opening, giving a view of a narrow alley leading to the market-place, and on the left of the window is the street door. On the right of the room there is a flight of steep steps leading to the entrance to a loft, and below the steps stands the weaver's loom. On the left of the room is the hearth. Below the hearth is a poor shrine containing an image of the Virgin, and below that a door admitting to a bedchamber. In the center stand a table and chair, and on each side of the hearth is a stool. There is sunshine without, and a narrow shaft of light streams through a little window which is seen in the roof of the loft. Simon Limahl is at his loom. Joan is making a fire with sticks. They are a feeble, prematurely aged pair, ragged, poverty-stricken, bent with toil.
Click-clack, click-clack, forever the shuttle flies. Here in the gloom, from out the loom, it groans and rattles and cries. Oh, would that the day were ended, when the end of the daylight dies. Click-clack, click-clack, forever the shuttle flies. Wife, where is Lane?
Gone to buy bread and draw water. Click-clack, click-clack, the night and day are one. The moon may sleep on castle keep, but our travel outstays the sun. Yea, when daylight is ended, our day is only begun. Click-clack, click-clack, the night and day are one.
Across the narrow street the crooked shadows meet, and the sound of falling feet echoes faintly and grows dumb. And the moonbeams creep and crawl down each gable to the wall. Ah, could night but end it all, we would pray that night were come. Why dost thou send Lane abroad at such a time?
Gramercy, have I done ill?
The town is aflame with preparation for the show of beauty that is to be held in the market-place an hour beyond noon. Beauty, a murrain upon beauty, say I.
Nay, if we curse everything we lack, thy shuttle will cease to fly, and my sticks to crackle.
Ay, but it is harder upon our child than upon us who are waxing old. And to-day there is like to be mockery in the streets, and bitter jesting at the sight of a maid so uncomely as Lane, and a cripple into the bargain.
Joan putting on her hood.
Holy saints protect her, I will go forth.
From the distance come the sounds of uproar and mocking laughter.
Hark!
Joan looking out of the window.
A crowd of idle lads and girls.
They come nearer.
To jeer at thee and me, I trow.
Simon fetching his staff.
My staff.
Let it rest. We are well used to being flouted at for the most toil-bent and broken couple in Merlemont.
Simon at the window.
See, they are making fine sport of something in their midst.
That impish dwarf Pepin is one of them.
And that good-for-naught Jacqueline.
There's mischief where she is.
Somebody has stumbled, fallen.
A girl.
They raise her. Hurry her hither.
Joan with a cry.
It is Lane.
Lane is seen to pass the window, accompanied by Jacqueline. Joan opens the door, and Lane stumbles in, carrying a broken pitcher. Lane is a poorly clad slip of a girl, with a little, wan, pinched face, framed in a tightly fitting cap. One of her shoulders is hunched, and she hobbles with the aid of a crutch. Simon and Joan bear her tenderly to a seat as a mob of lads and girls in holiday attire appear in the alley. A few follow Jacqueline into the room. Others thrust their heads in at the window. A youth commences to ply Simon's loom vigorously, while Pepin, a hideous, big-headed dwarf, swarms up the steps leading to the loft and sits there surveying the scene. Jacqueline, a ragged young woman with a tousled head and bright, mischievous eyes, does her best to keep the crowd at bay.
Hobble, hobble, now we've caught her, scuttling homeward like a rat. Limping Lane, the weaver's daughter, by St. Joseph, look at that.
Aye, 'tis Lane, our crippled daughter, by St. Joseph, look at that.
Saints above us, what a couple! Sooth, he's fashioned like a sickle. All his back is bent in double, and his legs are not a pair. Lo, her skin is made of leather that has soaked too long in pickle, and her eyes are hung with cobwebs. See, there's mildew in her hair.
Holy Mother, have a care.
That's her father, and the other, that's her mother. What a pair!
Holy Mother, would ye dare?
Nay, Sir Weaver, spare your cudgel, and when next your crooked daughter limps and hobbles o'er the cobbles, with her body turned askew, patch and mend her ere ye send her to the gossip's well for water, lest we take her crutch and rend her. Holy Mother, what a crew!
Carrion kites, what would ye do?
Wretches.
Fiends.
Look, they have made me break the pitcher.
Grieve not for that, thy mother has thee safe.
Out of my house, all of ye.
To Jacqueline.
And you wastrel, you plague o' the town, get you gone speedily, lest I forget thou art a woman, and snap thine arm with my staff.
Ha 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 ha! Nay, father, scold not poor Jacqueline. But for her not coming to my aid, I had not only broken the pitcher, methinks. They pressed about me so roughly.
Say you.
True, I am for as much fun as any man or maid in Mirlemont, but I will take no share in teasing a girl because her face is pinched, her nose sharp, and her back awry.
To the crowd.
Pigs! Swine of all colours!
The crowd threateningly. A handsome, shrewish-looking dark girl detaches herself from the crowd and approaches Jacqueline. The girl to Jacqueline.
Thou rag heap, thou art not over well favoured thyself. Thou dost wisely to ply thy tongue in behalf of this ugly tribe.
Ha ha!
But once wag tongue at me, and I'll teach thee.
Ho ho ho! Who speaks here? The beauty of Mirlemont.
To the girl.
Yeah, I hear thou offerest thyself today as candidate for the prize for loveliness. Why, thou lank bony thing, dost thou imagine the Lord Philip will award the wreath of rosebuds and the girdle of virgin silver to thee? To thee, when all the pretty ones from Bovigny, and from Saint Hubert, and from Lenaled, and from the whole countryside are trooping into the town? Beshrew me, but the Lord of Mirlemont is at least a true judge of what is passable in woman. Holy Mother, regard thyself.
I'll scratch thine eyes out.
Best tear out thine own ere thou competest for this prize, lest thy squint should disqualify thee.
The girl seizing Jacqueline.
Ah!
Simon coming between them.
Peace, cats.
A lad to Jacqueline.
Nay, Jacqueline, let us have no bad blood at holiday time. Remember, you promised us pure fun.
Jacqueline to the crowd.
Cease baiting cripples, then. Away, let us to the house of old Peter Tilbrugger the miser, and hurl stones through his windows.
Ah!
The crowd gradually disperses. As Pepin is clambering out of the window, Jacqueline gives him a push, and he falls. The crowd disappears, laughing. Lane embracing Jacqueline.
I thank thee, dear Jacqueline.
Ah, Jacqueline, if thou but hadst a mother.
Thou hast served us a good turn, jade, that thou art. I cannot repay thee.
Canst thou not? Give me thy staff.
Simon giving her his staff.
For what?
That I may break the dwarf's skull. I'll learn him to be impudent to Lane again. Whoop!
She runs out gleefully. Joan to Lane.
Why, what has that Pepin, the dwarf, said or done to thee?
Lane sitting gazing into the fire.
They bade him kiss me, and though in sooth he made a wry face at the task, he was for obeying them.
Kiss thee?
Put his lips to thine?
Yea, for they said that no straight and fair man would ever kiss a maid so unshapely as I, and that I ought to thank God and the saints for being kissed, even by a dwarf.
Joan aside to Simon.
O good man.
Simon aside to Joan.
Tush! She will soon forget this insult, as she hath forgot many others. Let us leave her for a while, wife. Close and bar the shutters. We'll fetch another pitcher, and go to the well with thee.
Listen, mother. Here comes one of the strange girls who offer themselves for the Lord Philip's prize.
A pretty fair girl, crowned with lilies, is seen to pass the window, accompanied by her parents and a small following of friends.
Maidens and men of Mirlemont town, hither we come at your call. Ye have bidden the fairest, then needs must ye own, we bring you the fairest of all. White lily she wears for a crown, for her cheek as a lily is white, and straight as a lily she grows, straight and slender and tall. Yet day shall not draw to its close ere the lily be changed to a rose. For shall ye not crown her tonight, the fairest of all?
Didst thou note her face? Hath she beauty?
Simon shaking his fist at the window as he goes up the steps to the loft.
Beauty, beauty, beauty.
He enters the loft. Lane weeping upon Joan's shoulder.
Oh, alack the day!
Hush, weep not.
Mother, the Lord of Mirlemont doth forget how many ill-looking maids are within his township, or he would not shame them in this fashion. Oh, but none so ill-looking as I! None so ill-looking as I!
The Lord Philip, he cares for naught, so that he may feast his eyes on what is fair and delicate. Malison on him.
Nay, mother, it can only be that he wishes to pleasure the townsfolk by this show of beauty.
Why, prithee?
Because, how long is it agone? Once, while I was drawing water at the well, I heard two old wives whisper that the Lord Phillips loves this eastern lady that dwells at the castle.
Yea, and the gossip now declare that he wearies of her sorely. But thou art a child and a poor innocent. Give no ear to their rede one way or another.
Yet I would I could become a little brown moth today, for an hour, that I might flutter about the steps of the town hall, and gain a close peep at the Lord Philip and the Lady Saida.
Foolish wench.
Nay, not at her then, but at him. In sooth, he is very gallant looking.
A sluggard, a dreamer, with a soft tongue and a heavy eye, and an idle sword, gallant looking. Where was our gallant when John the Fearless assembled the brave lords of Flanders about his standard at St. Omer? Why, snug within the castle of Merlimont, listening to the olive-skinned dame singing to her lute, or watching her as she danced, waving her veils in the sunlight upon the terrace. Where is he now when the Lord of Perils and the rebel brats from Liege are laying waste to the land and driving forth the good Prince Bishop like kine to the marsh? Why, dallying in our marketplace, crowning with a wreath of blossom and clasping with a girdle of virgin silver the prettiest maid that simpers under his glances.
Simon descending the steps carrying a pitcher.
Hey, wife, what is all this coil?
Joan closing and barring the shutters.
I am but chiding the child for being so deject over this mummery in the marketplace.
Simon to Lane.
Come, girl, after all, heaven's gate will not open more readily to cherry cheeks than to thy white face.
Yea, father, but one has to die first to prove it. Meanwhile, a maid must needs be beautiful, or 'tis but weary waiting.
Waiting is waiting, girl, for comely or crooked.
Nay, love maketh the waiting easier.
Love?
So I have bethought me. And on earth the crooked and unsightly may not hope to be loved. Therefore the waiting is irksome.
Joan approaching her.
Gramercy, do we not love thee?
Lane embracing them.
Truly, I am ungrateful.
Simon to Joan.
Come, wife.
At the open door to Lane.
Fasten up the door, and open to none but us.
Simon and Joan depart. Lane secures the door. The room is now in darkness, save for the shaft of light coming from the opening into the loft.
Ungrateful? In sooth, that I am.
Standing before the shrine.
And yet, dear Mary Mother, unto thee I bring a poor maid's prayer. I am a crooked, wan, misshapen thing, and may not dare to lift mine eyes to thine, lest haply so thy heart should find no pity left to spare for all my woe. Mother of Jesu, at thy feet I cry, I do but crave for love, that so my heart may live, else what am I? Nay, and if God above hath naught of love to give, I fain would die. To him who gave the rose its vermeil hue, 'twere vain to pray that he should make this body straight and new and fair alway. Sooth, that were vain, yet thou canst bid God send, whereas the night time endeth every day, my day may end. Mother of Jesu, at thy feet I cry, for well I wish 'tis so. Love sorts but with the fair, and not am I. Wherefore I fain would go, but praying but this one prayer, that I may die.
As Lane ends her appeal, one of the shutters becomes transparent, and a diabolical-looking face with a red glow upon it is seen leering at her. After a moment the face vanishes, and there are 3 distinct raps upon the door. Lane opening the shutters and looking out.
Who knocks?
A voice without.
Pax huic Domini et omnibus habitanibus in ea.
The room is now light again. She unbolts the door and admits the devil. He is in the guise of a friar. He limps slightly, has a forked red beard and long finger-nails, but is of a genial demeanor.
Good morrow, daughter.
I was bid to open to none, father, but we did not look for a holy visitor.
Nay, I would not have thee disregard an injunction. Always obey those placed above thee. Yet, hearing there is adversity and heaviness of heart beneath this roof, I would fain leave behind me a few words of blessed consolation.
I thank thee, father.
Devil smacking his lips.
But first give me a cup of water.
We have no water till my father and mother return from the well.
Showing him the broken pitcher.
I grieve more than ever I have broken my pitcher. See, 'tis bottomless.
Nay, 'twill content me.
He puts the mouth of the pitcher to his lips and takes a deep draught.
Father, do you mock me as others do?
Mock thee, my daughter?
He turns the mouth of the pitcher downwards. A stream of water flows from it.
Oh, holy saints!
Devil replacing the pitcher upon the table.
Yea, we cannot be too thankful to them.
Father, thou art a stranger in Miromont, I trow. We have no such good man here as you must be, for the saints to give thee water from a bottomless pot.
Alack, I am but a sinner, my daughter, or they would make it wine.
Sitting.
But truly, I am a stranger, as you remark. I have travelled a great distance, having some curiosity to examine the fine cities of Flanders and Brabant. Though, sooth, a tiny town like thy Merlemont amuses me more.
We call not Miromont little.
That is one of the things that amuse me in Merlemont. Another, that they chase their cripples here at holiday time.
Lane, hiding her face.
Oh, father.
I did perceive them hunting thee as I entered at the north gate, and so, out of tender sympathy for thee, I begged to know thy dwelling place.
Rising.
You and thy worthy parents are named the Ugly Family by the good folk of Merlemont, I learn.
Yea, an answer to it aptly.
Devil limping towards her.
Well, there is much virtue among the ugly.
Truly we are virtuous. Heaven take count of it.
That should make you all vastly content.
I would be more content, father, but for my lameness.
I limp a little too, daughter, as you may have observed. How come you to halt?
I had a fall when I was a baby.
Strange. I had a nasty fall, too, in early manhood. Ahem. Thou wert at thy devotions, my daughter, when I struck upon the door.
How knowest thou that?
I heard the pious murmur as I stood without. That's right. Pray, pray, pray. There's nothing like it.
Father, thy knocking fell upon my ears as though it were an answer to my prayer.
Thou wert praying for some special dispensation, wert thou not?
Why did my words reach thee?
But faintly.
I confess, father, I do desire to die. Pleaseth God to take me.
To die? Before thou hast lived?
I have lived long enough.
Nay, thou hast never been beautiful.
Father!
Therefore thou hast never been loved, as young maids should be loved. Therefore, being ugly and unloved, I say thou hast not lived.
Father, these are my own wicked thoughts.
Wicked?
Are they not so?
Nay.
Oh.
Well mayest thou regard my visit as an answer to thy prayer. For look,
taking from his pouch a little bag,
I chance to carry this upon me.
What is it?
My daughter, the little pebble lying within this bag is the instrument by which a strange miracle may be wrought.
What fashion of miracle?
One that maketh an ugly item of humanity most beauteous.
Beauteous?
Surpassingly beauteous.
Laying after a pause, affrighted.
Nay, I will not believe that.
He seizes her by the wrist.
Oh, father, thy nails are long and sharp. They cut into me, father. Ah, here come my parents. Tell them not of my prayer.
Joan and Simon appear without. Simon looking in.
Who stands within?
Hush, 'tis a holy friar.
Joan and Simon enter.
Chide not this simple maid, the fault was mine.
No fault in sooth.
'Twas not 'gainst such as thee our door was barred.
Yet, holy father, say, how comes it that the light of heaven hath crept to our dark home?
My children, I have heard ye stand in little favour in this town. Wherefore I thought to pause upon my way, and proffer comfort. Sooth, and as ye came, in pleasant converse with yon crippled child, I chanced to show her this.
He holds up the bag containing the stone, which now glows with supernatural light. Simon and Joan shrink back, half in terror.
What is it? Speak.
Well may ye ask, for hidden here doth lie a little stone hewn from a sunken rock, whose giant shadow, rising from the deep, empurples the blue sea. Yet long ago, in holier days, it reared its sacred head, moss-mantled o'er the wave, and on its crest once trod the Virgin's feet. And since that hour, this little particle of precious stone, a relic rescued from the wreck of time, has so much virtue that on man or maid, whoever it be who owns it, there doth fall the gift of perfect beauty.
Beauty?
Beauty?
Yea, truly 'twas of beauty that he spake even as you came.
Father, I fain would know how falls this miracle.
Ay, tell us that.
The devil produces the stone through which is threaded a fine cord.
Draw anear, and ye shall hear. Tremble not, 'tis not to fear. On the bare breast of man or maid, naked shall this stone be laid. Snug and secret must it lie, hidden close from every eye. For one, and only one, shall own the mystic virtues of this stone.
Father, bestow it, aye, bestow it here. No home in Flanders is so waste and drear, lacking a comely presence. We are worn and bent with years and toiling, night and morn. Our child is sickly, hapless was she born. Bestow it here.
Weaver, thou didst not heed me. I have shown this wondrous gift is not for all to own, but whoso wears it, he or she alone may hope to win the beauty that lies hidden deep within this glittering stone.
Though that should be, yet on our knees we pray, grant to this darkened house the light of day. Oh, hear our prayer. In pity hear us. Let but heaven's sweet ray make one face fair.
Ah, Holy Mother, little need had they to crave this lamp to light them on their way had I been fair. Wherefore I too would kneel to thee today. Oh, hear their prayer.
Devil giving stone to Simon.
Take it, 'tis thine. My blessing go with it.
Father, we thank thee. Day hath dawned at last. Oh, wife, wife!
Oh, good man, our child.
Our child!
Rushing to Lane.
To thy bedchamber, tear open thy bodice.
Pressing the stone into her hand.
Lay this upon thy poor breast. Haste thee.
Mother?
Go.
He thrusts her from the room. Simon embracing Joan.
Sweetheart.
Joan after a pause.
Nay, good man, art certain we have done well?
Wife?
Something in this mislikes me.
Making for the door of Lane's bedchamber.
My child.
Bevel intercepting her.
Woman, what wouldst thou?
Pardon, father, but this miraculous stone may bring ill upon us rather than good. Stand aloof, I prithee.
Meddle not.
Nay, but what if others learn what 'tis my daughter carries upon her bosom?
Truly 'tis an object to be carefully guarded. For in sooth beauty is a possession man delighteth in stealing from woman, woman from man. Yea, good people, you had best be discreet.
And, father, I do bethink me, is this the only piece of beauty stone in mortal hands?
It is, my son.
How long hast had it in thy keeping?
Sith thou wast pretty to look upon, weaver.
And never bestowed it till now?
Ay, often.
Joan clinging to Simon.
Hear him.
Then how comes it in thy pouch today?
A sage question. I'll answer thee. In one odd fashion or another, this beauty stone, as thou hast dubbed it, hath always returned to my charge. Since it dwell in that rock whose hallowed crest lies sunk in an orient sea, this stone it hath pressed full many a breast of gallant and proud lady. For all have sued for this glittering thing, and squire and lord and clown. Yea, once it lay next the heart of a king, who counted it more than his crown. I gave it away to a love-lorn maid, who wept for her heart was free. And lo, when this stone in her breast was laid, she grew passing fair to see. And a knight rode by, and he knelt and prayed, For thy beauty my life were freely paid. Now what wilt thou give to me? Sir Knight, I have naught, laughed she. Sir Knight, I have naught for thee. But still at her feet, as he made his moan, from out her bosom she drew the stone. And that knight rode forth, but he rode alone. And he laughed, for his heart was free. And they buried a maiden all skin and bone. And so it befell, at the toll of the bell, this stone had come back to me. And anon it sped over sea and land, it journeyed o'er land and sea. It hath lodged in many a fair maid's hand, yet it ever comes back to me. Then it passed to a miser of grisly hue, with a beard that fell to his knee. He had cuddled his gold, though he fain would woo a lady of high degree. And he laughed when he saw how fair he grew, yet ever she sighed as he came to sue. Nay, what wilt thou give to me? Rich gems have I none, groaned he. I have naught but my love for thee. But at night, as he lay and dreamed of gold, she drew from his gaberdine's inmost fold this glittering stone, and his heart grew cold. But she laughed, for her heart was free, and they buried a miser withered and old, and so it befell, at the toll of the bell, this stone had come back to me. And anon it sped over sea and land, it journeyed over land and sea. It hath lodged in many a withered hand, yet it always comes back to me.
As the devil concludes his history of the stone, there is a faint cry from Lane's room, and a low, distant rumble of thunder. Joan and Simon still clinging to each other.
Holy Paul!
Devil at the door leading to the alley.
Vos quibus Deus benedixit benedice.
He disappears as Lane enters and stands before her parents, erect and wonderfully beautiful. She has abandoned her little cap, and her hair, encircling her head like a glory, falls luxuriantly to her waist, and upon her arm she carries her useless crutch as though she were bearing a lily. End of Act 1, Scene 1.